Start off with, I'm going to work on these circular areas, and this is the colour we're going to start first, and this is why we've started with a white undercoat. And with this first coat I want to cover the entire area. By that I mean the areas where I'm wanting the yellows, and like I said, I'm going to do all these ball joints with this. This is our next colour, and at this point everything below this area will be this colour, and this time we'll literally put a line straight across the centre, and we might want to do 2 or 3 coats of this just to build the layers up so we end up with it darker here in the centre area. For our next coat we're going to use this, the Agrax Earthshade, and this time round where we've got the dark part we just want to put a dark brown line across the top here, and again we'll probably want to put maybe 2 coats. Next coat to be used is the Dawn Yellow, and this is going to be applied directly above the dark colour we applied last. Now all the centre lines have been painted in. We're going to use this colour next to cover the top area. Use these 2 colours again, and we're going to use those colours to pick out this pattern around the circle there. What we're going to do is the darkest one will cover parts of the area which would represent where light is less likely to catch it. This circle at the top, the outer circle at the top, I'll use the darker one. The inner circle I'll use the light one, and it'll be in reverse at the bottom. So I've now made a mix which is a 50-50 with this paint and Illuminor medium, and we're going to turn the miniature the other way around, and what we're going to do is paint on the inside of these lines. And when I finish with that I will use Agrax Earthshade, and I'll turn the miniature the other way around and I'll do the inside of those lines on the bottom area. Now I'll finish with the gold parts. I've jumped forward just a little bit and I've used some white Scar. I'm now going to use this paint. I'm filling it down with Illuminor medium to cover those respective areas. Quite a thin coat, so there's quite a bit of Illuminor medium in it, roughly 5:1 ratio. I'm going over it a couple of times because some of these fine areas here, paint doesn't always want to settle in straight away. Next now we're going to start applying some of the darker colour. This is the colour I'm going to use first, and it's best I just paint all the areas and then you can see later on which areas I've done or which areas I haven't. First off though, I thought I'd point out these areas here on the outer joints of the legs. They're quite deep, so what I would suggest, so you don't accidentally end up covering the areas you've already painted, have a piece of paper inside like this, and that way you can paint inside without accidentally covering the area you've already painted. Make sure when you pull the paper off, you're pulling the paper this way as you move it, not that way, because if there's an excess of paint on the paper, if you drag it that way you might drag the paint which is on the paper onto the area you've painted. For this area here, if you use the side of your brush instead of the tip, then you should be able to cover the area without causing any problems. 2 coats of Corvus Black were applied. Next I'm using Scavenge Blight, and it is 2 parts Illuminor medium to 1 part the paint because I want to thin it down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, where this has separate joints, I'm going to cover the top joint approximately halfway down, so add a little bit of colour, and then I'm going to do the same with each joint. Starting to dry now, you can see how the top of the joint is lighter than the bottom, and also with these pieces I've covered the side on the top. I haven't covered the bottom pieces, just the top ones, and I've covered along the top as well. Next we're going to paint the edges, and we've got 2 types of edges. We've got the hard edges like on the outside, and we've also got a softer edge on the inside. We're going to start off with painting the softer edge on the inside, and we're going to use Mechanicus Standard Grey and add some Illuminor medium in to thin it down, and then all we have to do, take it slow and paint the line, and paint those lines all the way down. If you feel the line slightly too thick, you can always use your finger and push it in slightly. And now we've done the soft edge in the centre, we can now do the hard edge on the outside. Don't add any Illuminor medium to the paint, just make sure there's a small amount of paint on your brush, and then just drag your brush across the edge. Did the blue to areas where you've got cables, and blue to the dome areas, and the blue is applied the same way as it was on these sections here. I painted it white first, and then I thinned down some blue and applied the blue. If you like the video, remember to like, share, and click on the button on the lower right hand side to subscribe.